Welcome back to another episode of the Living Proof Recovery Podcast. We're your hosts, Brian and Evan. And tonight we are going to do another Q&A episode. We've had some questions submitted to us from some clients at the Robert Alexander Center and through Impact Wellness, their IOP program. So we're going to touch on a few questions, see if we can maybe clear some things up for some people and just give them our experience and our perspective on them. Like whatever we say isn't factual for anybody necessarily, but it's our experience, in the way that we've done things, right?
Right on.
First things first, though, before we get into that, did you watch the Winter Olympics?
Negative.
I didn't either. No. But I was thinking today about what could make me watch the Winter Olympics, right? I've never really been into the Olympics, but so I kind of come up with a suggestion for the committee of a sport or a game that they could have, right, for people like us to watch, right? So something that would be interesting to me. So I was thinking, so you remember the Summer Olympics when they had breakdancing? So I remember Ray Gun, right? Ray Gun.
I do remember that.
Right. So I'm envisioning Ray Gun out on ice, breakdancing, while people are throwing snowballs, right? So they have to like breakdance to dodge snowballs, right? So would you watch that?
It could be interesting.
I would watch because Ray Gun, like I would watch Ray Gun dance.
I just feel like
it's so terrible. Yeah, it's so terrible that I would kind of want to see it. It would just be comical to see, right? So I was just thinking about that today. It's kind of stuff that I sit and think about, So, all right. So we got a slew of questions here, so I'm going to kind of carry.
Jack kind of threw me off.
Yeah,
they're barking.
But they're barking. All right, so let's see. Where do we want to start? Let's start with this one. Do I need a sponsor right away, and how do I find one?
Okay. Obviously, I'm going to say yes right away. The sooner, the better. Even if you can land one while you're in treatment. That's awesome. The sooner the better, obviously, so that you can get to work. How do you find one? There's, different ways, obviously, through other people. They can connect you in the rooms. Somebody says something that you like, maybe ask them to be your sponsor. Or straight up raise your hand in a meeting and introduce yourself and say, I'm actively looking for a sponsor, and they will definitely come.
Yeah, I like this question because it's simple,
yeah.
Right? It's a simple, straight ahead answer, like literally all the things you said, right? Whether it's someone connecting you with somebody or you just go to a meeting and you just approach somebody.
Yeah.
Say, hey, man, here's what you do. Hey, have you had a spiritual awakening as a result of working the steps? Mm-hmm. If that person says yes, be like, cool, what's your life like now? And they tell you, and that's something that's intriguing or sounds good to you, like that's something that you would like, say, okay, will you be my sponsor? And they will say it'll either be yes or I can't right now, but let me find you somebody.
Yeah.
Right. It's that simple, but we don't want to put that off.
No.
Right. We don't want to put recovery off because we need somebody to like shepherd us through this thing. Right. And if the longer we take, I think we talked about it on here before. We were talking about a friend of ours who was basically taking applications,
right.
And resumes for a sponsor, and he got sick, because he just was looking for that perfect person, and that person doesn't exist, like none of us are perfect. So what matters is just getting started. Right. And, you can always, say you get through, somewhat through a few steps or whatever, or a short period of time, you're like, yeah, this really isn't what I was looking for. This isn't working out. You can go find somebody else. It's kind of like looking for a new job, but you already have one. You know, you don't want to go without one before you find another one.
Right.
You know, so, and there's another question on here that ties in with this one. It says, what kind of sponsor do I need? Example, one that will hold me accountable, or like a confessor. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe someone just to talk to. I'm assuming that's what that means.
I would assume.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's different for every individual, though, the type of sponsor you need. For me, I need somebody that will hold me accountable and call me out. If I'm slacking, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, I need somebody to call me out. Also, for people who are not used to being called on their shit, like, I feel like that's very important to have somebody that will do that for you.
Yeah.
But again, just going back to the initial, you know, we don't have time to take applications, and
Right.
I just believe that just getting a sponsor as soon as you can is the best thing to do. No matter who, like, obviously somebody who's worked the 12 steps and can guide you through this, but just somebody to get started, because it doesn't have to remain your sponsor forever, but just to get going, you know.
Okay, so I think, just in my own opinion, in my own experience, I think we're in agreement that this thing is life or death, right? So I need somebody that treats it that way.
Yeah.
You know, I need somebody that's going to tell me the truth. Like, that's like the main requirement for me, is like somebody that's going to be honest with me about, and not tell me what I want to hear, but what I need to hear. You know, like, Brian, you're fucking up, right? Like, what are you doing? You know, something like that. So I needed somebody to hold me accountable, because I can't hold myself accountable.
Right. No, and
Not at that juncture. Right.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, but I'm just getting at, for somebody fresh out of rehab, like, these questions come from people currently in rehab right now, just get a sponsor.
Yes.
Right off the bat. Like, it doesn't have to be the perfect sponsor. Right off the bat.
100%.
Just get started.
Yeah, get started. All right, let's move on. This seems kind of obvious, but it says, how crucial is working the 12 steps in recovery?
Well, I mean, like you just said, for me, this is life or death.
Yeah.
You know, this is
Pretty crucial.
It's yeah, pretty fucking crucial. You
Yeah.
know, it's the same way as, like, other diseases that you get.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's cancer or whatever it is, you know, you want that treatment as fast as you can.
Yeah, like my father is a diabetic, type 1
Absolutely.
diabetic. Like, it's very crucial and vital that he takes his insulin.
Right.
He has to treat his condition.
Right.
Right. So we have to treat our condition, and the way that we do that is through the 12 steps. Right. So, I like this one. How do you stay spiritually connected when life is going well?
So I've always admit, I've talked to you.
You're like, I don't.
Talk to the guy. Right, I just get super sick real quick, you know. But no, this out of all the times trying to stay sober, this has always been the hardest part for me. Was the spiritual connection to my higher power, you know, to God. That was always the hardest part. And even when life's going good, that's the easiest part for me to let up on. And I don't understand why. I probably never will, but I know when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I just know to get tapped back in. But just, I had to do little things to remind me to, like, because when things, especially early on, you know, I can think back to 4 years ago when I first got sober this time, and, you know, things were not great.
Right.
In just my all around day-to-day life, things were not great. So it was real easy for me to still stay grounded and just keep, working on this prayer thing that I was just learning about, and meditation, and how to stay in touch with. At that time, I didn't even know what it was I was praying to. I was just doing what other people suggested and told me to do. But then as time goes on, when life starts getting good, it was easy for me to let up on that. Praying in the morning, so I started doing little things like at my old house and at the new house now, I still, right there on my door, I have a prayer that is what I started with in treatment that someone gave me, just something simple to start with. Mm-hmm. And I still have that taped to my door. That way, if I do get up in the morning and I'm rushing out the door to get kids to school and do all this stuff, I see it.
Right.
And then I'm like, wait a minute. Let's tap in real quick, mm-hmm. and then let's go.
Yeah.
So I do little things like that just to put it out there in case I do get too busy. And you know what I mean? Because that might be bad to say, I get too busy, mm-hmm. or I'm trying to move too fast.
Yeah.
But I put little things out there like that just to always make myself remember, right? Mm-hmm. And, when life's going good, that it's easy for us to try to take back a little control and mm-hmm. let that part slack. And I'm definitely guilty of doing it. So, over the years, I have a routine, obviously, and I pretty much stick to that routine. But like I said, I put out little things like that just to make myself remember on those times where life does get hectic and too busy and everything's going great. And, but I just have to do that.
Yeah, I think that relying on a higher power is very easy when things are going bad.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I've had my ass kicked. Please help me. Mm-hmm. I want to tap in now. But when things are going good, that's when sometimes it's not that things go bad in sobriety. A lot of times that things get good fast, mm-hmm. and we start to pull back, and we start to think like, damn, look what I did. Like we start to take credit for everything. All of a sudden we're doing it. And, but I think that the way that I stay connected is, through action, so it's a spiritual program of action. So in order for me to stay connected spiritually, I have to remain in action. I can't get stagnant. So whether that means, going to meetings, sponsoring people, prayer, continuing to do inventories, throughout the year, steps 10, 11, and 12 is where it's at, so once I, practicing those disciplines, and I say practicing because I don't do it every day, right. I aim to, like, I would like to say that I do, but I don't, I'm pretty good at it, but I'm still lacking at times, right. with prayer, meditation, my daily inventory, things like that, so, but those are the things that keep me connected, because steps 10, 11, and 12 is basically working all 12 steps on a daily basis, right? So that's kind of how I stay connected through prayer, meditation, working with others, just practicing all the principles that the steps are about. Mm-hmm. And that kind of keeps me, like you said, grounded. Yeah. So it kind of keeps me on track. Let's see. How has your understanding of the steps changed over the years?
And so it's just like, I've been through the steps several times and I've read through the book several times. And it's just amazing how every time you go back through the book, mm-hmm. something else will stick out to you.
Yep.
And I just believe that wherever you're at and in that time, like, things can be looked at from a different perspective when we reread them, mm-hmm. right? So every time I go through it, something else pops up where I'm like, man, I've never thought of that before. I've never thought of
Right.
it this way before. Or I'll hear one of you guys or something, my sponsor or somebody in a meeting, put a little different perspective on different things, you know. So, over the years, it's just, I think it all comes down to where you're at and how you perceive it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that what the book says never changes. Like,
Right.
but the way we interpret it,
Yeah.
the way we experience it, because as we go along in our walk in recovery, we grow. So we grow in understanding, right? And
Right.
so I read it today, and I pick up on things. I still pick up on things. I've read that book so many times, but I still pick up on things, and it might just be something very small, like just like a little word, and I'm like, oh, like I've never really thought about that in that context.
Yeah.
And then I go down a rabbit hole, of like, oh, this my mind's blown, like
Yeah.
just something like so obvious that when anyone else would read it, now I'm like, oh, that clicks, like it makes sense now, right? So as far as like understanding the steps, like I have a deeper understanding of what they mean,
Right.
but by having a deeper understanding, I also have a more simplified understanding. Right. So
Yeah, we get-
it's like I've boiled it down to its bare bones, like nuts and bolts. Like what is it saying?
Yeah.
Right? Like what does it mean? Like I can get like deep on it, but I don't need to, and it's like I just try to keep it simple with that kind of stuff.
Right, absolutely. And I think that comes in with sponsorship, right? And how your sponsor's going to take you through the steps. So my understanding of the steps necessarily hasn't changed, I guess.
Right.
Like I understood what each step was. My sponsor made sure of that. You know what I mean? The very first time. But it's just as far as the readings go and what we're reading and diving into through those steps, that changes.
Well, we have different experiences with them.
Right.
The longer that we stay sober and practice them, we have different experiences with them. So it's not necessarily, it can be, our understanding of something can change, right? But sometimes it just deepens. It's just like
Right.
we just have a better relationship with what the step is, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? Let's see. About what keeps you coming back after achieving stability in recovery? So what keeps Evan going? What keeps Evan
me
going?
is, like I've said it before, man, like I owed this to myself in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But now I owe this thing to so much more than just me staying sober, right? AA and just recovery in general has given me so much that it would be like the most selfish act I've ever done in my life to not come
Right,
back.
right, yeah.
To not keep showing up. And of course, things have changed. My schedules have changed. Life changes with kids and my wife, and we get busy in sports and all the different things that come. But I have to keep coming back and showing up and being willing to help the next one up, or anybody for that matter. But that's why I keep coming back, is because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to show up and carry the message to help somebody. And like I said, that's like the ultimate act of selfishness. If I get well and I recover, but
Got
then
mine.
I try to keep it all to myself.
Right, got mine. Yeah, and we see people do that.
Yeah.
I think that number one, like I have to keep this thing a real piece of business, right? Like on my radar, right? Because just because I'm a recovered alcoholic doesn't mean that I can't get sick again.
Absolutely.
Right. And I was talking about this in my home group Tuesday. we were talking about gratitude and being thankful and things like that. And I was talking about, like, for me, right, like my higher power doesn't want to hear about my gratitude. Like he wants me to show, right? And because my whole life, I've just been a taker, right? Like I take, what can I get from this, right? And I asked Josh that early on in recovery. I was like, what do I get? You know, like, because I want to know, like, what do I get?
It's my prize.
Yeah, like, what's my prize? Like, we're like the only people that want a prize for running out of a burning building, right? Like, what do I get? You know, it's like, save myself. What do I get? You know, but that was my thought process, right? Like, you know, like cause and effect. Like, if I do this, what do I get? You know, and I really had to start to realize that in order to receive, I have to give, right? So that's kind of what keeps me coming back, is that the feeling, and it might sound selfish, but the feeling of giving feels really good, you know, like, because you get to see, you make actually maybe have a purpose in your life, maybe make some impact on people. You know, I was talking to Jeremy the other night. My son had a basketball game, and I left the game, and every time I coach, so it's with the Special Olympics, right? So I volunteer coach, and every time we leave practice or a game, I am on like this spiritual high that like I've never felt before.
Right.
Like every time, like it never fails, whether we win or lose, like I'm just on top of the world, right? And it feels fantastic, right? And it's because I'm getting outside of myself and I'm helping other people who need help, you know, and it feels fantastic. I love it. And I love, it gives me ease and comfort, just like alcohol did, just like pain pills did. You know, it's the same type of thing. It's just I'm going in a different direction with it, you know. So it's something fulfilling. That's what keeps me coming back. Number one is I don't want to get sick again, right? I don't want to get sick, and I like to help people. Like, it feels good to help people, and we need all the help we can get. So if I can help people, then they can get in the trench with us and help other people.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's kind of what keeps the thing going around. And like you said, if the root of our troubles is that we're selfish and self-centered, and I get what I need out of recovery and just walk away and don't give it back, then I really haven't made any progress, because I'm still selfish and self-centered.
Right.
Right. And that's just going to lead me back to the things that I don't want to go back to. At least that's been my experience with that. Let's see what we got here. We've touched on that one before. What helps you avoid complacency? No, we kind of touched on that. There's a bunch of questions here, so I'm just not going in any kind of order. Okay, what if I don't understand or struggle with the spiritual part of AA?
That's okay.
Right.
You know, I struggled with
Welcome.
that I struggled with that for so long, and you know, a sponsor that I had years ago, you know, he's always been a great example for me personally. You know, he's been sober for
82 years.
41, 42 years now. But I also saw him when he was 20 years sober, and I didn't know that he was sober at the time. I was a child, right? And to see the way he was then to the way he is now, it took him 20 plus years before he fully understood that. You know, and so that doesn't mean that we can't stay sober, but he still tried.
Right.
Put in some effort. You know, it didn't fully all the way set in with him for a long time. And I know for me, and he would always tell me, because I would put some time together and then I would relapse, and then put some more time together and relapse. And that's what he would always tell me: man, you're missing the biggest part. And it wasn't until this last time around where I didn't know. I had no idea. I always struggled with that, with the whole prayer and meditation thing. And I just had to take a different approach at it. Like I said, while I was in treatment, I spoke to someone there about, and I just told them, I don't know how to pray. I don't know what to, at that time, I'm 34 years old. I don't know what to do.
Right.
Someone help me. Someone tell me.
Right.
And she literally gave me this piece of paper and literally just said, start with this, read this. And it was so simple. God put me in the places you want me to be, doing the things you want me to do with the people you want me to be with. Thank you for the joys and challenges of my life. That was it.
Right.
That's what I started with.
Like, it's got to be more complicated.
And I would just read it every morning when I woke up. I would read it before I went to bed. I would read it.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously I memorized it, and then it kind of grew from there. Still didn't know what I was praying to at the time, but I was willing to try something else. Right? I was just taking suggestions, trying something different, and then I know I've discussed it before. When it comes to the meditating, I never understood it, and until I found Refuge Recovery or Dharma, and that's where I really learned about what meditation really is about and what it is. And I just had to, I didn't know about any of it. Even though I had been in and out of AA for years, I didn't know what I was doing or where to begin. I'd never put in that action before. So if you're struggling with that part of it, it's okay. Most of us do.
Yeah.
99% of us don't know or have never attempted to have a relationship like that with something greater than we are.
Yeah, other than alcohol or drugs.
Right. So it's just about being open-minded, taking some suggestions, and just get started.
Yeah.
Just give it a shot.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to read into this question just a little bit because, and I could be way off base, right? And if I am, I'm sorry. But what I think they're really asking here is, what if I don't understand God? Or what if I don't understand a higher power, right? Well, here's the good news. You don't.
No.
And you're not going to.
Right.
And you don't need to, right? You don't need to understand. If I could understand God, I mean, what kind of chicken shit God would that be?
Right.
If I could understand it? Like, how powerful would that be? If my drunk ass could understand it, right? So I don't need to understand.
No.
Right? Like that's the key. Like, I don't have to.
Yeah,
that's
what
the
I was
key.
Getting at.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was just putting in some action.
Right. So when we, before we started this podcast, we did, where we went over like spiritual principles and things like that on Facebook. And we went over honesty, hope, faith, courage, integrity, willingness, integrity, love, responsibility, discipline, awareness, and service, right? Those things are all spiritual in nature, right? So that's an easy way to kind of get like a basic understanding of a higher power, right? Or of spirituality. Basically just being a good person. Being honest, having some integrity, having some faith in something other than yourself, right? It's that simple, right? It's not, we will complicate the hell out of this stuff. But it's not complicated, because we don't have the answers. We don't need the answers.
One of the things I think of is, like you said, we don't know just to have a little bit of faith, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I had faith every time I put a fucking needle in my arm or snorted a line of whatever it was.
Yep,
or
that it was going to get, you were going to get what you wanted out of it.
And I was putting faith in this, whatever substance it was, that it wasn't going to kill me right now, or the dope man wasn't cutting my shit with something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had no problem putting faith into that type of stuff. So why not put faith into believing that there's something greater than me.
Yeah, like how arrogant to think that there's not something greater than me. Like there's nothing greater than me.
And once I
Like,
started thinking about that early on, that's where I was like, okay, just stuff like that, I can use.
so like I've had a couple of people tell me stuff like that, right? Like I don't believe in a power greater than myself. It's like, okay, like do you have anything to do with the sun coming up today? Well, no. Can you control it or anything like? No. Like, so that's a power that's like bigger than you. It's like you can't control that. Well, no. It's like, okay, what about the breeze in the trees or the waves in the ocean? Like, you can't do nothing. Like, that stuff's all bigger than you. Like alcohol. Like, you can't sit here and tell me that you don't believe in something that's more powerful than you, then tell me in the same sentence that you're powerless over alcohol or drugs.
Right.
So it's just what direction
Right.
are we looking towards something, a higher power that is an evil God, or something that is loving or that could maybe help us? And an easy way to do that is to just look at somebody else, and say, hey man, do you believe it works for me? Like, if you believe it works for me, then why couldn't it work for you?
Right.
At least you don't have to understand it. You don't have to know what it is. You don't have to know what to call it. None of that stuff. It's like, do you believe on some outside chance that there's something out there that could maybe help you? Well, yeah, I can go that far. It's like, okay, and then we're on. Then we've made a beginning. And that's
all we need.
we've made a beginning. Yeah, it's all that we're trying to do is just get started. Same thing with sponsorship, right? Just get started.
Yep.
That's what a lot of this stuff is just getting started. And then a lot of things naturally take place if we're continue to take action, then things just kind of work out, man. Like, at least that's been my experience, right? It's just like things just seem to fall into place, and it's like, oh wow, like I can't believe this.
Even noticing or realizing.
Yeah, it's like I can't believe this happened. It's like to an outsider, they're like, well, of course that happened. You're doing X, Y, and Z, and you're no longer doing these things over here. It's like, of course, good things are starting to happen because you're putting good out into the world. Like, so. We don't have to have it all. We don't have to have all the answers. That's the good news, right? Like, we don't have to have it figured out. How do I stay sober when my family or friends drink? You don't. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, obviously that's your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I can't expect other people to change the way they live or things that they do because of my addiction or my alcoholism. But for me, the simple thing trying to think of it just from early on, like, you don't have to put yourself in those situations either.
Right.
How do you handle friends and family that still drink or whatever they do, if they can occasionally smoke weed, whatever it is? How do you handle those? The simple answer is, especially early on in sobriety, you don't have to put yourself in those situations. You don't have to go around, even if it's family. You don't have to do that.
Can you stay sober if someone in your house uses? Like, say you get out of rehab and your wife or husband or whoever, still drinks.
I mean, absolutely you can.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, that is your shit.
Exactly.
That's not anybody else's responsibility to change their life because of you. And that is super selfish of us to think that they should.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're coming home to someone who is, I guess there's a difference between coming home to someone who is a raging alcoholic or drug addict.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not a situation you should be putting yourself in. But if your wife has an occasional glass of wine or likes to have a drink here and there, like that is your shit, not her responsibility to change that up. Now, if they choose to not do it because of you, as far as we don't want to do it, like, you know, that's their decision.
Right.
But it's not.
And that's cool.
Yeah, and that's cool too. But, you know, that it ultimately, like, that's your shit.
You can't put an expectation on people,
Right.
though, to
No.
have. See, the good news is no one else has to change in order for you to get well.
Exactly.
Right. And you phrased it really good. It's like it's your responsibility or our
Yeah.
responsibility, right? Like I can't come out of treatment and just put all of these expectations on other people, right? If I can't be around that kind of stuff, then I'm in a lot of trouble, right? Like I'm talking long term
Yeah.
here, right? Like not like I'm one day out of treatment, I'm talking about like after I got a little bit of time, because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not just my family and my friends, it's at work functions, it's in public. I can't go to the gym and not smell weed.
Right.
It's just like, which I've never understood. Like I was never able to work out after smoking.
Right.
Like I don't want to work out. It's like I want to go eat some shit.
Yeah.
I want to go watch a movie
Yeah.
and eat some shit. But I just we this kind of brings us back to like triggers, right? And so it's like we can't go through life just avoiding things.
Yes.
Like you said, it's our responsibility, and those things aren't an issue anymore, right? For me, they haven't been for a long time, and I know they're not for you either, right? My wife drinks, there are times when we have alcohol in the house,
Right.
no big deal. My wife has, I'm not even gonna get into that, never mind. But I almost said something I didn't want to say. But it's okay, right? Like I can be around things like that today. And that probably sounds insane or dangerous to someone who is in rehab right now,
Right.
right? And I get it, right? I understand why it does, right? And it should, right? But there's some hope in that, right? That if we do the work that we need to do, then we can get taken to a place to where we can be just a normal person around drinking and alcohol. And it kind of gets to the point where either there's like a tipping point, right? Like for a while, it's kind of funny to watch drunk people. It's like in your family and stuff. Like these people are idiots, But after a while, it's like these people are fucking idiots. Like they're getting on my nerves now, right? But it's just one of those things that do the work, and it won't be an issue. Like that's just been my experience. Is if we do what we need to do, it's a moot point. Like it's not an issue. Like it's a non-starter. Like it's like so what, But there's a prerequisite for that, right? We have to do
Right.
the things that we need to do first.
I think it's just important to be able to set those boundaries early
Yeah.
on, and when
And keep them.
and keep them.
Yeah.
But like you said, there comes a time after the work has been done to where, I mean, I can go to work events or family gatherings and people are drinking and it just doesn't bother me
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what a wonderful thing, right? Like if we can share any kind of hope on this episode tonight is that we can recover and that we can be around things like that and not freak out,
Yeah.
and not be stressed out and not be depressed because, oh, they look like they're having so much fun and I can't have fun.
Right.
Like, no, like it's just not like that. And that's probably sounds like a huge leap for somebody who is in rehab,
Yeah.
who has never experienced that. So we're talking, kind of sharing on an experience that most people haven't, that are listening to this probably, or the audience we're talking to hasn't experienced that before. So it probably sounds a little far-fetched, but it's not.
No,
Like it's not
not at
far,
all.
it's not far off at all. And actually, If you go through the work in the big book, it's like 22 pages of work to get from hopeless to recovered alcoholic to where you can do those things.
Yeah.
It's like, is your life worth doing 20 to 22 pages of work?
Right.
Right. If you look at it that way, it's like,
Yeah.
we're not asking for, it's not asking to do too much, really.
Yep.
You know, if you really break it down that way, you
Right.
know. But if you look at it from a perspective of, this is always going to be a fight, you know, I'm always going to be fighting this, then man, that's going to be a long life, man. Like, that's going to be a stressful life. And that's just not recovery to me.
No.
Like, that's not recovery. That's hell on earth is what that is, you
Yeah.
know. And it doesn't have to be, you know. It can be if you want to go that way, like you can, you know, like, I mean, that's cool if that's what you choose to do, but you don't have to. Let's see. I think there's one or two more maybe. What does emotional sobriety mean to you today? This will be. We'll end on this one.
You know, I just can. Things used to just always be the end of the world, right? No
Right.
matter what it was. It was,
Catastrophe.
oh, this guy's on fire, it's burning,
Right.
you know. And it just, that's not my life today, man. Through this work, through my higher power, through my support group, like, man, like, I'm okay. Like, no matter what comes my way, and I'm human, so I'm still.
Right.
Sometimes my first instinct is, I'm getting riled up a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's so freeing to be able to take a fucking breath and be able to look at things and just know, like, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, things are okay.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get through this. You know, emotional sobriety is, you know, I can just look back to early on and when I was in the madness, and I would just flip the fuck out so easy, you know, and everything, like I said, everything was crashing down around me when it wasn't.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I made it that way, you know, so to be able to understand what's going on and my actions, how I react to things, you know, it's just such a different life, but it's so freeing to be able to do that today.
Yeah.
You know,
I think like there's a couple like questions that you can ask yourself to kind of know where you're at as far as like emotional sobriety is concerned. Like, and one of them is like, how are you at like receiving constructive criticism?
right?
You know, do you flip the fuck out? Do you get mad? Do you get like super butthurt?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean that things don't bother you, but it's like, how do you at least sit back and consider what someone's saying? You know, or is it just like, well, fuck you? You know, like, you don't know me. You know, like the type of shit that we used to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's one way to kind of test, you know, how you're doing emotionally. Another one is, how do you react or behave when things aren't going your way? Right? Things aren't going my way. Am I throwing a pity party? Am I a victim? Am I pouting?
Right.
Those are pretty good indicators for me personally that I'm not doing very well with my emotional sobriety.
Yeah.
You know, is if things aren't going my way, how am I acting? How am I reacting? You know, am I pausing?
Right.
Am I just flipping the fuck out?
Yeah.
You know, am I saying what I want to say, and not, instead of thinking about it and saying, do I want to say that? Because
Right.
I don't really want to go back and make amends to this person tomorrow. So I probably shouldn't say it, you know, and then maybe look at why it's bothering me. Are we looking at things that are bothering us and why they're bothering us? You know, are you taking inventory on a somewhat regular basis? You know, are you kind of looking at things and talking to people about it and applying the steps in your life. Like if we're not doing those things, we're probably not gonna be very emotionally sound.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of how that stuff comes out in my life. You know, and I had to check that sometimes where I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing real good emotionally right now
Yeah.
because I just not reacting the way that I would like to react. So, but we have things to do,
Right.
you know, when those things happen.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, like, even when, like, for example, somebody says something that you don't like, and maybe you do stew on it for a little bit.
Yeah,
You know, maybe
It happens.
does bother you.
yeah,
But the emotional sobriety side of that is what you and I both kind of mentioned there was I didn't just immediately tell you to fuck off.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might
Might
not
want
like
to.
it. I might want to.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean? That's emotional sobriety, being able to understand how we're feeling
yeah,
and not react based off of how we're feeling in that moment.
yeah. And, you know, and another way to look at it is not relying on other people for me to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, not, I am okay whether I lose my job. Like, that's not going to be happy. Like, that's not good. You know, I'm going to be stressed. Like, but I'm okay. Like, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Like, I guess I got to find another job. You know, like, I guess
Yeah.
that's priority number one. It's not what it used to be to where I would pout or go around telling everyone how I just got screwed. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe I got screwed, but I got to find a job. Like, that's
Yeah.
what I got to do. You know, so it all comes back again to action. You know, we can't like think our way into living right. You know, like we got to live our way
Yeah.
into good thinking is what we have to do. So, yeah, I think these were some good questions. I think they're important questions, you know, so get a sponsor, you know, work on yourself, go help other people, you know, clean up your past, work the steps. Just make, I guess what we should just say, just make a beginning.
Yeah.
Make a start. Like, that's something different, right? Like, if what you've been doing has not been working, try something different, right? So, and something different would be making a beginning. But we have to start somewhere. You know, we're not going to wake up and detox and just be like, man, I got it all figured out now. You know, thank God. Finally got a good night's sleep. Like I got it figured out. You know, it just doesn't work that way. But we just baby steps. Like we just got to get started. We just get going in the right direction. Surround yourself with some people that know where the fuck they're going. You know, and just take it from there. So, you got anything else?
No, I think those were some great questions.
All right. All right, thank you guys. If you would like us to answer any more questions, you can submit them to us, or you can submit them to some people at the treatment center that can get them to us, and we'd be more than happy to help you guys in any way that we can. All right, we love you guys. Thank you.